And we're back. The latest episode, let me be frank. How you been, mate? You okay?
I'm doing well, doing very well, yeah, thank you. Just back from my halls and all that kind of stuff. I've been away for a couple of days.
You want all bronzed, aye?
I know, tanned.
Yeah. And your hair looked nice and bleached as well, looked good.
It's the sun.
Aye.
That's the name of the hairdressers.
So, from one Celtic striker to another, great guest we've got today. Big bad John Hartson. John, how are you?
Welcome,
I'm
John.
very well. I've looked forward to coming on this for a while.
Aye.
Frank says he's just come back from Barbados. I've just come up the road through Swansea. So there's a bit of a difference.
There's not much of a difference, really, is
So
there?
much. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely beaches in Swansea, is there?
There is some fantastic beaches, you know, when they get the weather. They're right on the Mumbles and the Gower Peninsula down there. Beautiful, yeah.
A bit like Scotland. Scotland's beautiful when it's sunny, but it's never. It's only about 3 weeks in a year.
I was actually over in Donegal and the white beaches of
Beautiful,
Donegal.
yeah.
Absolutely stunning. The views, yeah, brilliant the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys, apart from playing football, you golf a lot as well?
Yeah, we do.
So, but not this summer, because it's the worst summer in the record.
Well, we've had a little bit. Every year we go over to Mercia.
Yeah.
We play a couple of courses with a friend of ours, Brian, and we have a great time over there. We have 3 or 4 days, and it's not one of those heavy ones.
No.
We just have a nice game of golf. We go for a few meals and
Couple of beers. That's that.
not what Frank's used to, but it's,
Yeah.
it's quite a quiet time.
I've got to watch because I don't get any sleep when I go away with him. Oh my God, me and him share a room.
Aye.
Oh, I thought the ship was coming in. They were answering him back.
Aye.
The ship's in the harbour.
I told you to bring your earplugs, didn't I?
Earplugs, I got earplugs. They did.
You know any wee techniques? There's like, apparently if you rub the earlobe, people stop snoring.
You think I'm going to rub his earlobe?
I get you. I've invited you.
Yeah, we're not that close. We're close, but not that close.
Aye. Oh, that's good. So I have to ask, what handicap does he claim when he's golfing with you?
He's about 10 or 12. He's a very good player, Frank, but we all try and nick a few shots off each other, don't we?
We do try.
But
When we're
he's a
playing
good
together,
player.
when we're playing together, it's good because
Yeah.
we're higher handicaps and we don't argue.
We're unbeaten together, by the way,
Yeah.
as a partnership.
Done a few
We're
charity
unbeaten.
games.
We have, yeah.
Yeah. You must hit the ball a fair distance.
Well, when I hit it, unless it goes left or right.
Aye.
But we're lucky because we, have a lot of charities out there, and they try and get a few ex-players and stuff, during their golf days. And so we get a lot of invites, and then we end up going and obviously playing together. We're unbeaten yet.
Aye.
Yeah.
Was golf a big part of your life growing up in Wales? Did you?
No, not really. I didn't start playing until I was about 16. I went to Luton and a few of the boys started playing, and I got myself a set of clubs, and I've never really, for all the years I've been playing, I should be lower, but I don't play enough really. I don't throw my clubs on the floor if I miss it a shot. I'll play once every fortnight or sometimes twice. But as I said, it's just a bit of fun for me now. It's just about getting out, having a bit of a chat with the boys, having a bit of lunch afterwards, and that's what we do.
And it keeps the fitness up as well. You said you've lost a few pounds this summer. Is that because of the golf, or is that because you've just behaving yourself?
Just behaving myself, really.
Aye.
Not drinking as much as what I used to, so.
You still going to the gym?
20 pints a day.
You still,
What are you doing to 20?
have you still got the gym across the road from the house?
Yes. I don't know what it looks like now. I've not been in for a while.
Aye.
So listen, I go in and put a punch bag in there,
Aye.
and I put some weights and I just do that in the treadmill. But yeah, I'm doing all right.
We both won black today for a reason.
Well, after the first 2 or 3 episodes, I was advised to maybe wear black.
Yes, I was.
Aye. In case I get any.
Baggy jumper.
Aye.
Don't show the wrinkles. Yes.
So, lots to talk about. One thing I have to ask you is because I think it was just yesterday I was reading online about a Martin O'Neill interview when he spoke about the time he substituted you too early and you went nuts. And he said it was the first time he was genuinely frightened that one of his players was going to stick one on him. Is that how you remember it?
Well, that was never going to happen. Obviously Martin's 30 years older than me, so I was never going to do that. But no, we used to have a couple of ding dongs, me and Martin. But the winner every time was the gaffer. I remember the game actually. We played Motherwell in a semi-final at Hampden, and it was a pretty close game. It was the pitch was boggy like it normally is. It was raining, it was lashing down one night, and the conditions were awful, which made it a really tough game. Normally we could go on 1, 2, 3, but for some reason the conditions probably suited Motherwell. I'm not being disrespectful on the night. But around about the 70th minute or so, the ball was played into me. I held a couple of defenders off, and Sean Maloney made a great run across me, and I just slid him in there. Sean went on, scored the goal. So I'm all delighted I've made the goal, and the crowd are away, half the crowd at Hampden obviously make a big noise there. And then, so we go 1-0 up. I look across to the bench and I'm thinking, you know, I've made the goal, I'm all right, I'll get my own little bit of goal in a minute, you know, I'll score myself. So Martin's like that, well, the substitute referees like that, number 10. So I'm thinking, I can't believe it, I've made the goal, do you know? So as I'm walking off the pitch, I'm raging. For some reason, the game didn't go particularly well, and I just had this head on me, and so I knew Martin used to like, when he substituted you, I knew he used to like you to go and sit next to him, you know, and
for a week in a debrief or whatever.
Shake his hand and obviously accept that you've come off, accept that he's made the right choice. I wasn't having it this particular night. So Stevie Walford, one of the assistant managers, threw me like a jacket. Normally you sit on the bench, put the jacket on, keep nice and warm. So I knew he wanted this. So as Stevie Walford threw the jacket at me, I sort of threw it back. And everybody sort of looking. And I walked straight down the tunnel. I never went and joined them on the bench. So I go in the dressing room, and there's a plate of tuna and mayonnaise, tomato and egg, onion and whatever. And I was so sort of lost the plot. So I grabbed a plate of sandwiches and I just went smashing them up against the wall. Water bottles, oranges, Gatorade. I totally lost the plot. So Henrik Larsson, I think he had a new like a white shirt on, and there was a bit of tomato and onion on his shirt. So I'm thinking, what's worse, having to face Henrik or the wrath of Martin? You know, just sitting at a brand new pair of shoes on. He had a bit of tuna on one of the So anyway, the game finished, and Martin came in. All the lads have come in, they're all high-fiving. Yes, what a win. Really hard game, but tell you what, lads, we got through it. We're in the final. We're in the Scottish Cup final. So I'm sitting there like a spoilt kid, like a spoilt baby. So when it all calmed down a bit, Martin's come over, and he's gone, what's wrong with you, John? What's the matter with you? And I went, I said, what do you take me off for? I said, it's always me. I said, you're always taking me off. Take somebody else off for a change. And nobody really spoke to Martin like that. But for some reason that night, I got the ump. And so he looked at me and he said, look, John. He said, every now and again, he said, you've got to run around a little bit. He said, tonight, son, in the 72nd minute, you just weren't moving, son. You were just completely standing still. So I had to take you off. So what do you say to that? You know? And then what was funny enough was we were like in each other's faces for a while, and it completely spoilt the win really, because everybody was quite subdued after that. So we got on the bus, and it should have been a celebration night, but with me and my antics and my stupidity. So John Robertson came up to me and he went, John, just go and apologise in the morning, knock Martin's door when we come in tomorrow and apologise. I said, I'm not apologising. What have I done? I've not done nothing. So anyway, I come in the next day and I thought, right, okay, I'll go and apologise. So I walked in and I knocked Martin's door like that, and I'm looking through the window, he's on his phone. He's on his phone talking to somebody, and I thought, I'll leave it then for a while. So I knocked again, and he went, come in. And as I walked in like that, he looked at that and he went, get out. So he shut the door behind me. Martin being Martin played me on the Saturday, and that's when he was good, Frank, because no matter if you'd had an argument with him, or if you fell out with him or did something that he wasn't happy with, to the detriment of winning the game, he'd play you. Martin wouldn't just leave you out if you had a big role in helping him win a game. So he's very clever like that, you know, and he was fantastic. But that was one of the few times really that I fell out with him, and and there was only one winner.
I've got to ask.
I
Sorry,
think
go on.
when I played, I felt I like managers that have an argument with you, and then it's finished.
Yeah.
There's no, they don't go on, like some of the managers I played, like Lou McCarry with Todd grudges,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But big, the gaffer, Big Bully, John Lyle, I mean, they tell you straight, and as you say, there's only one winner.
I think you work with the managers.
Of course.
I think if you're doing a business for them, in general, they'll let you off with certain things and that, But Martin could rule with a stick. He could be really, really strict, make you feel like that, couple of words.
Yeah.
And other days then, he'd be fantastic with you, he'd praise you, he'd say you're our best player today, he'd get you in on a Monday morning, put his arm around you. He never quite let you into when you played with him, but obviously now we're great friends.
Sure.
We speak he comes up and plays at my golf day every year, and we're really good friends now.
I have to ask that night when you chucked the tuna and the tomato all over the dressing room, did you land any in Bobo Baldi's gear?
No, thank God.
That would have panned out, aye.
Yeah.
But and also Henrik, you're talking about something landing in Henrik's shirt. So everyone looking back at Henrik Larsson, you think of one of the calmest individuals you'd ever likely encounter on a football field. Did Henrik have a wee bit of a temper when he got going?
No, Henrik basically was Henrik was pretty quiet. I think him, Johan, and obviously Magnus Hedman came to the club. So they had the 3 Swedish internationals, and he would talk. Henrik, he was quite good. He liked a bit of fun, but in general, he just got on with it, and he was so professional in his training and his games and everything else, and the goals he scored. But he wasn't the type of player for me. I could ring Henrik personally and say, "Do you fancy a beer?"
Sure.
It wasn't that type. But he'd come out at Christmas and he'd have a few beers with the lads. But I think that's the way with the team in general. Not everybody. We all get along, but not everybody has them 2 or 3 people that you go out with on a Saturday night. You share a night with. You go out as a 6 and 3 couples go out and have a meal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Henrik had his people within the group, and I had my people, but there was never a problem with
really
me.
got a sense of humour, has he?
Aye?
He's not really got a sense of humour.
Well, you said that, Frank, not me.
Yeah. What a player.
Yeah, what a player.
He's up there, but...
This you having a pop at the greatest ever Celtic in your own
because I'm having a pop. You know me, you know what I'm like, John. I met him at one of the nights, and he was doing 40s. Now we're getting 40s with other people, and he came over and he had a bow tie on.
Yeah.
And John, it didn't go with the outfit. So I'm laughing after a few beers, and I'm laughing. I'm saying, brilliant. I'm saying, does it spray water?
Did he find that funny?
His face, he's looking at me, and I'm saying, oh, does it spin? And he's just, looks could kill. And I just went, everyone round about was laughing, but Henry was.
Well, we had a night at the Hydro. I think there was 10,000 people there. It was Hartson, Sutton, Larsson.
Yeah.
The 3 centre forwards, we did ever so well together, and I think it's 430 odd goals. I think between the 3 of us, which is a lot of goals, as you know. And so it was me, Chris. We were all on the stage. Actually, some of the other guys were up there as well, but it was almost.
It's all about strikers.
But it was almost going to be myself and Chris that were going to drive it.
Sure.
Because I wouldn't have thought Henrik would be the type to do after dinner speaking and sportsman's lunches and things like that. So in that sense, you're not expecting a load of jokes out of him. But the fact was he was one of the Celtics, if not the best Celtic player of all time.
But as far as spats with teammates is concerned, I have to ask this, you've been asked this a million times, the famous Berkovich training incident at West Ham. You're looking back on that, how do you think that kind of defined you at your time at West Ham, or do you think a lot of... Did you get much reaction for the fans looking back? Were they on your side?
I remember, was that the first time they let the cameras into? Because that was it.
No, there wasn't the cameras. That was actually filmed with a mobile phone on the side of the pitch. Sure. So this is where when we go and do dinners and after speaking, these phones will kill you.
I know.
In the end. And back then, they weren't about too much.
No.
Mobile phones and all this Snapchat and Instagram, and it wasn't around really. But I remember that vaguely, and it's one of the biggest regrets of my life really, because when I went to West Ham, I couldn't stop scoring. Harry Redknapp paid record money for me. I played with some great players there, like Ian Bishop and Rio Ferdinand was coming through, Trevor Sinclair, the likes of John Moncur. I could name Frank Lampard, Joe Cole was coming through, Michael Carrick. They were coming through. We knew they were going to be good players because Harry would bring them over to join him with the first team on a Friday morning. You could clearly see they had a lot of ability, you know. It was just this one particular day. I remember the ball was played into me. I lost the ball. One of my teammates shouted at me, "Oh, get hold of it," or something. And the ball ran away. And I took Isle from behind, I tackled him. And as he was sort of there, I was over him and he threw a punch at me, which caught me there. It wasn't much of a punch. Yeah. And then I lashed out. As soon as I did it, I thought, I shouldn't have done that. I knew straight away because I was aggressive. I loved backing in. I loved, you know, getting amongst it and being strong and holding defenders off. But that wasn't me. No. I was never like that, do you know.
And as you say, had it not been for the fact there was a phone there or whatever, there must incidents like that probably happen.
I know, but I took full responsibility for it. I knew it was wrong. I went in, I apologised straight away. Harry Redknapp fined me a huge sum of money. I got banned by the FA, and to be honest, I brought a lot of embarrassment on my family in Wales, a lot of my close personal family and my friends. And the bottom line is I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have reacted the way that I did.
Have you spoken to him much?
Yeah, I spoke to him quite a lot, actually. I met him on holidays. Once Wales played Israel over in Tel Aviv about 15 years ago. Israel, Wales in Tel Aviv. There was a European qualifier or something, and he came to the hotel to meet me. I was actually in a hotel in Israel, and we had a chat and everything else. And strangely enough, we were having a chat in a little cafe, and then the next morning it's in the paper. So obviously somebody had noticed
something on news senses.
I don't know if that was all set up, you know.
There's
two guys with a history,
The good thing about it, you came out right away and
and the thing is, Frank, he made a lot of my goals as well.
Of course,
Frank, I was a little, we could, through, you know, through the eye of a needle of a pass, the weight of a pass, which is underappreciated as a footballer, rolling it in the right side of you. Frank will tell you, as a centre forward, you make a run down there, you want it played on the right side. He was good at that.
He was very clever. Remember, he scored 2 goals at Ibrox against Rangers, and that it was a fortunate defeat, but he was.
What was quite funny was not so much funny, but I never told anybody. I was a little bit embarrassed, so I never for a minute thought it would get the reaction that it did. So obviously whoever filmed it had gone away and sold the story and everything else, and the papers, the radio, the television, they were absolutely all over it. When something breaks like that, the world goes mad. The world just goes mad, and I've had that experience. Look at the Roy Keane incident in Saipan when he left his country. The world just goes mental. You know, and that's
something just catches fire.
That's exactly what happened. So I hadn't told anybody. So I go home on that Sunday night, right? It was a Sunday morning because we were playing Southampton on the Monday night football at Upton Park. We had a game the next day. That's why we were in on the Sunday. Mark Hughes is Southampton. And I go home and I'm sitting in my lounge. He's laughing. I'm sitting in the lounge in my house with my wife, right? So I go out to put the kettle on for me and my missus, bring a cup of tea back in, and News at 10 comes on. News at 10.
Were you one of the dongs at the start?
Honestly, Trevor McDonald, right? Clever Trevor, right? So I'm out the kitchen. My wife is in the lounge, and underneath has gone breaking news.
Oh no!
Right. So my wife's on her own and thing. If there's any children in the room, could the children please be taken out of the room because what you're about to see is quite. So my wife's gone, John, quick, come here. Something terrible's happened today. So I'm walking in the lounge with a cup of coffee and a Kit Kat, right, for my missus. So the next thing, it was like, bang, main news. the incident on the training ground that afternoon. So she's looked at me, she's gone, what the effing hell have you been doing? You know, she didn't know. So it was as much of a shock to her as any. And then the next morning, there must have been 50 press outside my house in Hertfordshire. And I spoke to Harry and he said, look, John, I'm going to send you away for a week. He says, you work hard, you work extremely hard. I went over to Monaco. I worked with a fitness coach that had worked with the French players at Arsenal. And I had one unbelievable week in terms of I was eating healthy, taking me to eat veal on the beaches and all that of France and Monaco. And I lost about 1.5 stone and I came back and I was flying. Me and Isle, we made up and everything else. But it's strange because people like to revel in people others. You know, misdemeanours and mistakes and things like that.
And they like to keep it going, don't they?
They like to keep it going. It's like, what is it, 25, 26 years ago now?
Sure. I've got to be honest, I did say Frank this morning, says she mentioned Berkovich, and Frank said, no, I wouldn't. And I'm like,
I don't worry.
So that went well.
But listen, it's out there. It's out there. Nobody wants to mention my 31 goals in whatever games it was. People want to mention the Berkovich, which I can understand.
Up is because I always laugh when I recall. Sorry, just very quickly. I'm pretty sure this was after Berkovich left Celtic and went at West Ham. I'm pretty sure.
That's what I was going to ask. What was your?
No. I was with him at. I was with him at West Ham, and I think, did he not?
Did he not go to Celtic after that?
I think he did. I think he did, and then he left before I got there.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. That's what I was asking.
Because I always remember hearing a story about how you were voted the most popular player in the Celtic changing room because of what you'd done. So that's why I think the chronological order of it, I must check that out. You think we'd do a bit of research and let me be frank.
But the thing is, it's like I could sit here and quite easily say something like, oh, he's lucky it was my left foot and not my right foot. I could take the mick out of it and brag about it, but genuinely, it was a wrong reaction. I shouldn't have done it, but you can't bring back the past.
But so, what about spats with teammates? You, Frank, can you think any time in the training part? Did you ever have a weekend?
I laugh too much. I just laugh too much. People, you know.
Was there ever anyone you wanted to clatter?
Yeah, a few of them, but you don't. You know, it's. But the thing is, in today's game, it's different now because the amount of times I see strikers, the amount of times I see strikers losing the ball, and nobody says a word to them. Well, the players that I played with, so Tommy Bonds-Roy, Mick McCarthy, there's no way I would have got away with losing the ball 3 times in a row. There's just not, it just wouldn't contemplate.
You had to have a thick skin?
Oh, yeah, because you couldn't, well, you had to be strong, as John said, be powerful and not lose the ball, take a free kick, get the boys up the park. It just didn't, it wasn't.
Well, that takes bravery, Frank. Even to win penalties. To win penalties now, you're expecting the striker forward, your centre forward, to just get there. Before the defender looks to clear the ball, but that takes bravery because you know you're going to get kicked.
You know you're going to
get kicked. So the brave ones are Michael Owens and these type of guys. They're very quick, but they know they're going to take a whack as well at the same time. So getting hold of the ball and getting across, Chris Sutton was brilliant for it with Henrik. He was a brilliant foil. Chris would be whacked in the back and elbows and things like that, but the ball would bounce off his shoulder and it'd go to Henrik, he'd go on and score. You know,
it took a lot of punishment in the pitch.
It takes bravery, you know.
Because of my height, I get taught. Jimmy Bowen, great striker that I played with at St Mirren, he used to teach me. And I was playing midfield at the time at St Mirren, and he used to take me, he knew I was going to be centre forward. And he used to teach me how just jump before the centre halves. You'll always get free kicks, you'll always get a foul, just little things like that. I don't think people take time to
underestimate it,
you know, and that taught me a lot. You know,
it's like when the ball's in the air, because years ago, even up to 15, 20 years ago, nobody threw the ball out.
No.
You look at Man City now, they throw the ball out.
Everyone starts at the back. And
everybody throws the ball out, they play out from the back. Years ago, it was a big punt from the goalkeeper.
You've never seen that.
John, you played the Coventry, didn't you?
It was you on the centre half competing for the ball, and then your fellow centre forward looking to get onto knockdowns or second balls or the midfield push-up. Nobody did that. So every game you're competing 10, 15 times with a big centre half. The Ruddocks of this world, the Colin Hendrys of this world, the Steve Bruxes of this world.
Brian Kilcline.
Oh, Brian Kilcline.
Well,
big
I
killer,
used to play up front with Tony Coy, and the keeper kicked the ball out. And all you hear is Killer's Ball. His nickname was Killer, right? Killer's Ball. And I look at Tony said, "There's nothing to do with me." I was a big man. I was about an inch bigger than him. Yeah. And I used to have to take a crap, and Big Brian used to come through with his elbows and his knees. And then you meet him after it. I met him on a couple of trips, and he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in your life. Yeah. And I'm going, you're an absolute animal on the pitch. And his wife's about that. He's there, right? And she bullies him. She's the boss. And I'm like, brilliant to watch.
But the thing is, you see, people have a perception. We've all got a perception of people. Now, I'm disliked because of the colours that I wore. No, they've never met me. Certain people have never met me. But they go, oh, see him, I don't like him.
Aye.
I've never laid a finger on my kids. I've got 5 beautiful children. I'd like to think I'm actually quite a decent bloke, good company. I'll give you anything, and I'll buy you a pint if I don't know you. Do you know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But everybody's got a perception of someone, and then when we go and do a lot of these sportsman's dinners, and takes you up and down the country, all over the place. So I'm on a stage, and somebody will go, by the way, you're so different to what you
not expected. That's what they say.
Exactly right.
Which is an interesting point, because your life could have been so different. You're down in Scotland, and it's interesting because we've got 2 guys here who Celtic legends, strikers, who could have signed for Rangers. Little known fact.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity, but you.
Yeah, Graham asked me twice. Yes. Yes. I was sharing a room with him at the World Cup, and he asked me. He told me then that they were buying Rangers. Fergie, wasn't it? He says, Fergie's going to drop me one of the games. And I'm saying, he can't drop you. You're only... Because Kenny didn't go. Partly because Fergie never took Hartson. So I heard, but anyway. So I'm sharing with Souness, and he said to me, would you come to Rangers? I was like, no. I'm saying, no. I says, I used to go to the games with my dad and Priest. I can't see them going to Ibrox, So, and then he made an approach to West Ham, and John Lyle says, would you go? I said, no.
I was going to ask that.
My Agent Arms was my
Well, I was going to ask that, because of your background and your roots, how difficult would it have been to go? It was never going to happen.
It wouldn't have been as bad for me, because I hadn't been at Celtic at that time. So I was at West Ham, and it would have been, he says it had to be me, Charlie Nicholas, or we Judas Mo Johnson. It had to be 3 of us, one of the 3 of us, because we were Roman Catholics, and it was a high profile, and to get that stigma. And I knew what Graham wanted to do, and it was brilliant what he wanted to do, but it just wasn't for me. I knew he wanted to change it, but I'm saying, it's never going to happen. Some of the fans are just, he says everyone that flings a scarf or flings their tickets back, we've got 2 to take their place. And I understood what they were trying to do, but it just wasn't, it's the west of Scotland. I mean, get over it.
Your situation was totally different, obviously, because you had been down south all your career. You'd have, I don't know how many times you'd even been in Scotland up until that point, but you've obviously looked at Glasgow, 2 massive clubs. You didn't really have a skin in the fight at that particular point, is it?
Not at all. I knew that Celtic and Rangers were 2 massive clubs up in Scotland. I spent 10 years in London playing for Luton, Arsenal, West Ham, Wimbledon, and I was actually at Coventry at the time. And I remember I was playing for Wales, and Mark Hughes came to me, and he said, John, we've just had a telegram through to the reception. Rangers have bid £6 million for you, and you need to be down at Cardiff Airport in an hour in Sir David Murray's private jet, and we're going to fly you up, and you're going to do the medical. So this weekend I'll give you permission. I think we were playing Estonia or somebody. He said I'll give you permission to miss obviously the weekend's match, the international. I phoned my dad, I told him. He was up in Cardiff, met me there. We flew up in the private jet. I'm walking down the side of the pitch, and Ronald de Boer is in the centre circle with his Rangers scarf. And I went, Ronald, give me 2 minutes and we'll do it together. We'll pause together. So I went up the tunnel. I had a little bit of work. The physio was just looked on my hips, on my knees. And then they said, right, we're gonna take you to Ross Hall Hospital in Glasgow there. You'll have a couple of scans just to make sure everything's all right. I've already agreed terms with Sir David Murray upstairs. So I'm signing a 5-year contract, quite big wages, and clearly I'm delighted, because I've got no allegiance whatsoever. For me, it was an opportunity to go and join what was a big club. You know?
They spent a lot of money at the time, and they were trying to make a big impact in Europe. And so
that's right. It was £6 million in the year 2000, 24 years ago. That's an awful lot of money, you know. So then I went off to the hospital. I came back, and I'm just about to put pen to paper. Dick Advocaat standing there, the manager. Right, John, everybody's smiling, everybody's delighted. The papers are there. The big Dutch doctor, Dick Advocaat's doctor, walked in. They went, whoa, we can't do it. So Dick Advocaat's, what do you mean we can't do it? He said, there's something showed up on John's knee in the medical. We can't take a risk. Dick Advocaat's almost like that on the table. He says, John, I can't believe this. He said, it was all set up, good to go. You making your debut on Saturday, blah, blah, blah. He said, all I can do is apologise. I've got to go with my medical team, my doctors, my advice. And he said, I can't apologise enough, you know. So 15 minutes later, I'm back on a private jet, back down to Cardiff. And that's genuinely how it happened.
You were quite upset, if I remember rightly, as well. I mean, you were...
Well, I just failed a huge medical.
Of course,
I just failed in my life, you know, almost a £4 million contract is being waved in my face.
Sure.
And then within 10 minutes, just gone... It's swept away from me.
Do you ever lie awake at night and think how would life have been different? Can you have you ever visualised?
When I've been here.
If you exactly.
Only kidding. I'm only kidding.
Well, what I was going to say is, do you think you would have been as much of a success at Rangers as you were at Celtic?
Of course we would have.
Well, that's hypothetical.
No. We're in the business of asking hypothetical questions.
I can answer that. I definitely have scored goals anywhere.
So I'm just thinking about even if the type of football they played, the style, the teammates, and all that. When you came to Celtic, everything just seemed to fall into place.
Well, I didn't stop scoring goals for Celtic. I had a year out with 2 back operations. But like you think about players now, they go 5, 6, 7 games without a goal. That never happened to me.
No.
It never happened to me. It was always I was scoring, and I scored 110 goals in the best part of 4 and a bit seasons, because I missed the best part of 10 months. If I hadn't scored them goals, I would have been in the team.
Sure.
It's quite simple.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't the fittest, I wasn't the lightest, I wasn't the quickest, but I could score. I could score. I knew where the ball was going to land. I anticipated, and I had a fantastic goal scoring record at Celtic. So who knows? I don't really think back about that now. I just think how lucky I was to sign for a club like Celtic under Martin O'Neill and Gordon, and play in that team, obviously, that I played in. And going back to when things have been the same, my in-laws live up in Fort William, right? So there's one particular day, my mother-in-law is a big Celtic fan. And I was up there one day, and we were having a bit of lunch with the kids. So we were all round the table, and my wife is sitting there as well, and we're all there. So my wife said to me, "Oh, John," she said, what would it be like, she said, if you signed for Rangers? My mother-in-law, she's only about, I don't know, she's just down there. And she said, I wouldn't be cooking him bloody dinner, I know that. And it just come out like that. I thought it was brilliant,
That season, the Seville season, and obviously injury affected that for you and so on. But I mean, do you look back at that and realise that? Do you think that was maybe the peak of your career, or I mean, how good was that O'Neill team?
Well, I was 28. I was centre forward for Wales, and Giggs, Hartson, Bellamy, under Mark Hughes, playing regular, 50-odd caps, involved in all the European Champs, World Cup qualifiers. Unfortunately, we never made a major tournament, but I was 28 playing for Celtic, and they say between the ages of 27 to 30,
that's your peak.
That's your peak. That's your peak, because you've got all that experience behind you. You know how to play. I knew how to work that penalty box. I knew how to peel onto centre halves and head it back. I knew when to go around the back to score. You got all that experience. You got 3 or 4 games under your belt. And if you can't hit your prime by the time you're 28, 29. And that Seville year was fantastic. We beat some great teams. The Liverpools and the Celta Vigos, the Stuttgarts. I could go on, Boavistas. But unfortunately, I missed the final. I played in 12 out of 13 games of that particular competition. Flying, scoring, making an impact. My Vigo goal, my Liverpool goal. Everybody was, in a fantastic moment. We had momentum. We get to the final, and I find out I need a back operation. If it had been my calf or my thigh or anything, I could have just took an injection or I just got on with it. But with your back, everything goes through your back.
Yeah.
And I burst a disc. And I knew within about 3 or 4 weeks before that I wouldn't miss the final. But the crazy thing was, I was on my 25th goal when we came back to Ibrox from Boa Vista on the Sunday.
That was a beach ball Sunday, wasn't it?
There you go. And we won 2-1. I won a penalty for Alan Thompson. Amaruso brought me down. And then I scored the second goal. We won 2-1.
Yeah.
So that was my 25th goal of the season. And then when we came back from Seville, we had another 6 or 7 games to play. And I couldn't feature. And we lost that league title by 1 goal.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you think about it, I would have definitely added to my tally.
Yeah.
So it all sort of conspired against me. The whole thing just went, I don't know what I'd done, do you know what I mean, to deserve that. But there you go, these things.
But you enjoyed the goal against Rangers. You scored a few, didn't you?
I got a few. I think I got about 8 or 9 against Rangers.
My favourite was the one that always sticks out. I remember one at Ibrox where everybody thinks about crossing the ball, but you were there crossing the ball, were you? You were going for the back post.
Oh yeah, of course. Listen, look, my dad had me first goal scorer that day, and they paid out anyway. So that's the only important.
Was it a wee deflection or something?
Yeah, it was off Kishinishvili, but we won that game. That was my 50th goal.
What's his name? What's his name?
Kishinishvili, I think. He's with Georgia now. I remember him because I smashed after them.
It was a big name.
I mean, the thing is, we've talking to you. You've done so well at Celtic, but you were huge at West Ham, and the boys loved you down there. You were there.
Well, same as
scored a lot of goals.
Yeah, West Ham. When I went there, West Ham were about, I don't know, we were gone. We were literally.
You and Kitson, man.
Yeah, beside myself and Paul Kitson. I'd come from Arsenal, where I was chomping at the bit for regular games. Arsene Wenger had brought in Dennis Bergkamp and Wrighty. Me and Wrighty played, and Bergkamp in the hole. But I could clearly see he wanted to partner them too. So he wanted me to stay and learn and things like this. Wenger offered me a new contract, but when Harry Redknapp's on the phone, Harry's quite stubborn in terms of what he wants. He normally gets it. And then they also signed Paul Kitson, where they had Shearer, 1 or 2 top strikers at Newcastle. Kitts was in the same place as me. He wanted to go and play regular. I wanted regular football, and he put us both together, and we just fire. And we didn't stop scoring goals. I think we scored 13 goals in the last 7 or 8 games, and we just managed to, to salvage our safety.
That's what he says. That Kitson and Hartson saved the relegation. So it was
So sometimes it just happens. We never worked on anything in training, but when we went on the pitch, we had that great spell together, and I'm delighted because obviously I got a lot of love. A lot of
fans down there.
West Ham.
So similar to Celtic, they don't forget you. And it's same sense of humour as well.
Do you get the treatment this man gets when you get back down to the West?
Not quite as nice. I get a little bit. Yeah, I get treated nice. I get treated nice at all of my clubs. That I go down to the Emirates and do a bit of work down there. The Arsenal fans, and played in 2 European Cup finals for Arsenal. Scored in the cup, was on a cup, but we lost.
I remember one of them was that who Naeem loved.
That's right.
Was a joke.
But do you know what? Right, it makes such a difference to a player's career if you win.
You win. I know.
Alan Smith got the goal the year before me. I think they beat Malmo or something. They played in Malmo. I can't quite remember. They won 1-0. There's pictures everywhere at Arsenal. I scored the equaliser in the Cup Winners' Cup final. It's not on there. It's not on there. It's not on the wall. Because you didn't win.
Of course.
When you don't win, you don't quite get the, not so much the accolades. I'm not bothered about the accolades, but it doesn't get mentioned too often. Things like that.
When looking back at your Celtic career again, that goal at Anfield is the one I think that if you ask a Celtic fan what was your greatest John Hartson moment, was probably that goal. You told me something earlier on that I didn't realise, that Jackie Mack was expecting you to pass them. Yeah,
well, what happened was I'd normally been taken off by about 73, 74 minutes. Chris Sutton had broke his shoulder, I think on the Sunday that we lost to Rangers, and I missed a penalty on the Sunday last minute. So Chris had been taken off, and then Momo Silla played, and one or two others that maybe wouldn't have got in the team. Momo did fantastically well on that night anyway. So I played up top with Henrik, and I remember Tomo scored that free kick. He says he meant it, he didn't mean it. A bit of a hit at hope, really. Sorry, Tomo.
He topped it.
He topped it.
But he put us 1-0 up right on the 45th minute, which is a great time to score. It almost changes the mood in the team talk. We've got momentum. We're really firing. We go in 1-0 at Anfield, away from home. So at least we've got something to hold on to with Bobo and Johan and Jos. We've got these great defenders, and we got a lead. You know. So we go out for the second half, and then I've hit that goal from about 25 yards. 2 goalkeepers wouldn't have stopped it. But and then I've almost run to the crowd, and I supported Liverpool as a young boy. Ian Rush was my idol all the way through my life. I had pictures of Rush and Hughes and as a young boy in my bedroom, and heroes, absolute heroes of mine. So that's never left me. Obviously Swansea, my home team, was my club, but Liverpool, I loved Liverpool. Rush, Dalglish, and McMahon, Souness, all that, Sammy Lee, all that era. And to have done that there, and obviously more importantly to cement our place in the semi-final. Liverpool weren't coming back from 2-0.
No chance.
We were too wise, we were too strong. I remember running off to the crowd. My mother says to this day, I've said this before, she was behind the goal that night, and if the net wasn't there, she'd have caught the ball. You know, so things happen. I'm a big believer in fate. I think things happen for a reason, and I weren't meant to play in the UEFA Cup final, you know, and obviously I was meant to get that goal in front of the Kop at Anfield. So it's stuff that dreams are made of, you know.
I don't believe in fate. I think if you'd played in the Cup final, we'd have won it. There you are.
Do you agree?
Well, you never know, do you? I didn't. I was there, and it was absolutely boiling. And I didn't particularly.
You didn't run about anyway. So.
I didn't run about, but I used to get quite blotchy and all that, you know, because of my colouring and stuff. But I don't know.
That's what I mean. You were a threat. You'd have took. It would have been. Mourinho would have been totally different that night because you'd just been there.
And I was in great form. I was on 25 goals before we even got to the final, so I was comfortable with my goals. And then your timing, it's the end of the season. Maybe, but I think Paul Lambert skippered the side that night. And to be fair, we were quite unfortunate. Henrik scored 2 great goals, and we just couldn't quite bring the cup back, which was a shame. But obviously, I'd have loved to have been there to play a part and try and help the team. But one of those things, I couldn't do it.
You obviously play for a lot of clubs. You mentioned Luton and Wimbledon as well. Do you follow them? Do you keep an eye on what's happening?
Results of my clubs. Luton did brilliant last season. They got promoted since the first time since I was there. They haven't been back in since about 33 years.
Still a good team.
And the AstroTurf as well. When McHarford, Brian Steen, Steve Foster, all them players. So it's great that they come back up the season before last. I thought they had a real good go.
I think so.
You know, with a small crowd, didn't spend an awful lot of money. You know, but they went back down. But obviously, you'd probably make them favourites again to come up next season.
Parachute payment and all that kind of stuff. And with Wimbledon as well. I mean, that was a pretty kind of interesting time in your career as well. But were you been part of the crazy gang, were you?
No, I was just after the crazy gang, but it was crazy enough still. You know, Sam Aman and Joe Kinnear, two great characters. You know, the madder you could be, the more crazy things you could do. Sam Aman would give you a bigger contract. That's how it was. But they loved characters down there. They built their club on characters. You know, Dennis Wise, Vinnie Jones, Sanchez, Robbie Earle, John Fashanu, Dave Besant. Dave Besant. And they had a lot of character. You know, they had a lot of fun. 1 or 2 of them could play. I think they finished 6th in the Premier League one year. But I had a great time at Wimbledon. And strangely enough, when you talk about transfers, 25 years ago, 1999, I signed for Wimbledon for 7.5 million. You know, what's that now? 25 years ago, 7.5 million. It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Cumulatively, quite a lot of big fees for you over the years.
It was. That was worth it.
You certainly.
L'Oreal.
Oh dear. So, I need to ask about the season coming forward.
Yeah.
Celtic. They get, obviously Brendan Rodgers will be hopefully been doing a bit of work over the summer and getting some.
Well, they did well to secure the league title, didn't they? And at one stage, he was looking like he was going to be touch and go. I think Celtic needed to put a brilliant run together when Rangers just clawed that. The lead. And then they moved on. I think what was it, 3, 4, 5, 6 points clear. And at one stage, it was looking like we'd have to win the 2 last derby games. So for me, I think Celtic deserve an awful lot of credit. They showed that little bit of spirit that they haven't had to show in previous years because they pretty much had it their own way. But last season, I thought they had to fight, they had to dig in after not a particularly good start. Kilmarnock took 3 results off us. We lost twice to Hearts. A few results that uncharacteristic results, Frank.
Yeah, well, it's the same as what we were saying. I mean, when's the last time you seen Kilmarnock beat Celtic and Rangers?
I don't even know whether that's happened or Kilmarnock taking 3 results off Celtic.
They beat Rangers as well.
Rangers as well. Well, you got to give credit to Henrik Larsson was manager of the year, wasn't he? Yeah.
I know he did.
Yeah, definitely, and I think he deserved that.
And if you look as well, Carter Vickers had injuries. He was out for a long time. Callum McGregor missed a few games towards the end of the season. Hatati was out for, and it was almost like we were waiting for our players, and they all came back at a great time. It was almost like new signings arriving back for us. I think Brendan Rodgers wants quality, which is not easy to find, and it costs a lot of money if you're going to add quality. But I think it's important that we try and get to that next level, Frank.
What do you think about, I keep thinking about, we've not replaced Scott Brown. I think we need somebody in midfield just to hold it together. Because Neil Lennon was with you. And he was like, he just held the team and, and then it was Scott Brown. Callum can't do that job. He's better up forward. And letting, that's my opinion. I think we need to hold in midfield just to hold it together because I think we get run over the top of a couple of times.
I think you're right, mate. I just think, but Scott Browns are not around.
No, I know, but I think we need somebody.
We need somebody.
Moy done it a lot.
Maybe that, yes, he did. Maybe that sitting holder in front, that's going to be discipline. That will sit there. He won't get he won't get dragged forward. He won't get in a position where he leaves, that central area. He's very disciplined, and that takes, that takes a good player.
Big year in Europe, though. I mean, because
we were talking about it. We talk about it all the time, so
why they haven't been able to take that leap forward.
If we get beaten Europe, great, but put a fight, put a punch in if you like.
Maybe try and set up a bit differently as well, rather than trying to attack the best teams in Europe. I think at Celtic Park, people come there and get feared. I mean, you beat Barcelona, AC Milan, Juventus.
Beat the best.
They beat the best. And they get draws. It was a fortress. And I don't
next season it's a different format, isn't it? There's going to be 8 games. There's going to be 8 games, 4 away, 4 home. So you'll have that more opportunities maybe to if you lose 1 or 2, then you can go win 3 or 4. Then you might just get into that into a situation where you go into the next stage.
Well, certainly when the one of the last big results was when they beat Barcelona. I mean, that's 12 years ago.
Exactly.
With Tony Watt and who was it? Scored the header. Wanyama
from was it Chris Commons or Mulgrew?
But we've mentioned this stat in the podcast before, but it always amazes me because I remember speaking to Charlie Mulgrew about that night, and how Celtic had something like 11% possession.
That's right.
I know.
But Lenny obviously
the biggest stat, the only stat that really matters.
200 winning.
200 and Messi scored.
Lenny said to his coaching staff, "We make it a draw to this."
It was 3 minutes to go, 2-0 up. He says, "I'll take a draw now."
Take a draw.
But that was it. And also with your time, Mark Maniel. I mean, Mark Maniel. You mentioned Valharan, Mialbi, and Bobo. and then
three boys
Lenny
that won the
obviously
ball.
set up a team that was difficult to beat in Europe.
Yeah.
Whereas latterly it's like, well, let's attack these teams, let's go toe to toe, whether it's Brendan Rodgers or Ange.
But we've not got a defence. We've not got that kind of defence, John.
But also, my opinion on this is, I think you need. Celtic got a good side, very good side, but I think you need to go to the next level. You think when Martin was here, Martin had. He paid 20 odd million pounds on myself, Lenny, Chris and Tomo.
Yeah.
We'd all played 150 games in the Premier League.
Yes.
So you bring in that extra bit of quality. And Brendan knows, and I think the supporters know, that we punch above our weight a little bit, and the team needs help. The team needs help in Europe, because if you look at Celtic's budget and look at Atletico Madrid's budget or Lazio's budget, and we can still take these teams on to a degree. But if you are going to push on, the board needs to look at it, and Brendan needs to look at it and go, we need this type of player.
Yeah.
You know, we need that. I'm not going to go name names, but we need players that can control it, that have been there before, that have got real good quality and experience about them. And I think that takes money. You know, it's going to take the board to help Brendan. That's if they want to go to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, and,
I hope so.
The supporters love winning leagues.
The best thing I heard, one of his statements from Martin was, he bought centre-halves that want to go and win the ball.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not interested in how they can play. So I want them to go and win the ball and give it to the players that can play.
Yeah.
You know, but we tend to find now, we want players that, and I've heard John Kennedy talk, that boy can play. He can. I don't want players to play. You know, it's like, I want goalkeepers. I don't care if they can play the feet. I want them to save the ball.
Yeah.
I want them to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I want centre-half to be a centre-half. Go and win the ball.
You need a football, you need a goalkeeper. The modern game.
We need a centre-half as well. Not just boys. I think we need
in the modern game, we're discussing earlier on how you don't punt the ball anymore. You need a goalkeeper that's comfortable to be able to find someone, find a full-back or whatever with his feet. You know.
Well, we have played out, and you know, in Europe, you know, you watched Spain play last night. We couldn't play the way we do against Spain because they just press you high,
press you,
and you got to think
that's
about
the
ways of playing. Yeah,
we get caught. So.
Well, listen, time is it's running away from us.
Absolutely,
it's been great, really, really good.
Good, enjoyed it. Yeah,
wandered down memory lane. Well,
we've gone for a bit of lunch now.
We've gone for a bit of lunch.
I can't play golf
because it's a bit too wet.
Too wet, yeah.
Well, listen, you never know. We'll maybe get a wee game of golf and get the cameras in and see who's the best of you hits the ball furthest.
We'll get a laugh anyway.
Definitely, 100%. I've enjoyed it, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
And well done. Keep going with things.
Cheers. Thanks, John.
All the best. Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers, guys.